There are so many points within a game where playing defensive is necessary. Rotating, box fights, and even just normal build fights. And that defensive building is crucial to surviving and buying time to make sure you can heal or disengage. So today, we're going to be looking at defensive tactics from close range fights all the way from someone trying to tag you from far out. I do just want to quickly ask you guys, if you do enjoy these videos or my content, to leave a like and subscribe, as it helps me create more content for you guys. If you want to support me even further, you can always use code SOLAGE in the item shop. Other than that, let's hop right into the video. When you're in a build fight, holding as many edits as possible is key to being able to play defensive. The more you have control over the builds around you, the more power you have. And that allows you to choose when and where you take shots, and choosing the timing that will be more in your favor. But you have to know the right timing and areas to take control. For example, one edit that is getting easier to counter is when you try to steal someone's wall and they go for an edit through their floor cone. You can place a wall to block them from being able to escape upwards and over you. But let's say you're inside of the box and you're trying to escape over somebody who is trying to take your wall. You almost have to counter the counter, so you have to place the build before your opponent can. So for this specific situation, you'd place down a wall through your cone and then editing through the wall to make sure you can continue to take height. It's an extra step, but if someone is good, they're going to place down that wall to block you from ramping up and then edit right in on you for a free shot. There are plenty of situations where countering a counter is important and can be the difference between you gaining an advantage or you losing the advantage. Most of the time it's going to make an edit more difficult or take more work to do it, but nearly every time it's going to put you in a 10 times better spot than you would be at. But with epics changed to coin flip walls, the chance of someone taking your wall and editing in on you is much more common now. And defensive box fighting is much more complicated and important than it used to be. The meta at the moment is, as soon as someone takes your wall, is they'll place a ramp inside and immediately edit in on you. If the player is good, there's not much that you can do before they already have the ramp down. But if you're fast enough, you have options to get up before getting shot. My favorite is dropping down to the floor. This way they really don't have a chance to nick you in the leg while trying to escape to either side. But if you're on ground floor, escaping to the side is your only option. I just recommend that as soon as you get inside of your new box, that you place down a ramp behind you by looking downwards. This will protect the little gap that is left between the edited wall and the ramp. And it allows you to continue tunneling away and creating your new box without having to turn around and reset the edit, which by that time your opponent could sneak a shot in on you. Already having a ramp that you own inside of a box is of course going to be ideal, as you can edit it to block whatever side someone steals your wall from. But there are more uses than protection that a ramp can offer. This first little trick is something that you can use if you have a second to sort of set it up. I use this in a ton of situations, not just box fights. Basically, anytime someone is running at you down a 1v1 tunnel, so inside of buildings or just normal builds. Basically, all you have to do is position yourself so you can phase your ramp, but not enough to launch you up or forward. Once you swap your edit around, you quickly go for a shot and jump up to protection as the ramp will unphase. Players will typically get caught off guard as they won't expect somebody to be shooting through a built ramp. I also recommend, as soon as you unphase the ramp, to hold your ramp blueprint out, as most players are going to be spamming your ramp to replace it anyways, and this will help you hold control over your turtle still. If that's a little bit too risky for you, there's other ways to gain an advantage by simply using certain edits to your advantage. Picking edits that allow for you to own the right hand peek and protect you are powerful and a much better choice than the edits that leave you exposed. The second edit is something that would be more or less a last resort. Say you're trapped in the basement of a house and all you have is a ramp, or possibly in a better situation where you have another box behind you that you can easily fall back into. Either or, swapping a ramp around and having it on the left side of the box gives you an easy right hand peek on anyone who's using a common edit like a window or just a bigger wall edit. It's important while playing defensive to find whatever advantage you can, because a lot of time when you're playing defensive, you're probably looking for a heal or to find a better opportunity to put shots back at your opponent. A lot of times, players are going to hop into your box to try to finish you off, or they may just simply jump into your box like a psycho. Either or, traps are your best friend as they're rather overpowered, but the best way to use them is by placing them on the floor or ceiling. This is nearly always going to guarantee you a tag with the trap. The reason it's guaranteed is because what you can do is swap your ramp or edit it and re-edit it real quick and the trap will still go off through the ramp. This is much better than placing it on the walls, as dodging and avoiding these traps is much easier. And using the ceiling or floor, make sure that you always will get a trap tag. Also, if they are stuck inside of your box and you do manage to get a trap down, sometimes your opponent will be at 200 health and shield. But if you're using the ceiling or floor trap, the ramp will still be in your control, and typically if you place down the trap, a player inside of your box is going to panic and try to escape. And they may only have their pickaxe out. So if you hold the edge of the ramp and look for the right timing, you can edit in on someone who will be standing there pretty much defenseless. Disengaging, or deciding not to start a fight, is something that happens a lot in comp Fortnite. Say zone is in Junk Junction and you're next to someone in Dusty Divot. That most definitely is not a fight that you want to take, but sometimes you're going to have someone who isn't the brightest or didn't look at zone and realize it's across the map. Regardless of what the situation is, creating that distance without getting tagged or beamed is a skill that you'll need, and sometimes may help your opponent realize this isn't a fight that you want to take and can possibly get them to leave you alone. But of course you want to protect yourself. Long range disengaging can be easy, but it will require you to spend a good chunk of mats if they continue to shoot at you. Because all they need is one lucky shot with a heavy sniper and you're out of that game. Otherwise, if you don't really build the best, you're going to burn through a lot of shield if they're able to keep sneaking AR shots at you. You can always try to find some sort of natural cover that will protect you, but using ramps or single walls that block a wide line of sight is important. Natural cover is probably your best bet to save mats, but sometimes it will require you to go more out of the way than you'd like, but it will keep you the most protected. Otherwise, using the ramp placing method to dash and protect yourself from behind is another option. You just have to be able to be on flat land or place floors to be able to. I like this a lot as it allows you to keep your forward momentum and keep rotating without having to turn around and place a build like you would with a wall. Using mobility is a great way to disengage or just to readjust yourself and get in a better defensive position. But you have to be careful when you use it. Launching away from somebody if you're in a 2v1 or even a 3v1 situation is really risky, and you're probably going to end up getting beamed out of the sky. There are some ways that you can make sure that the damage done to you is minimal. One of my favorites is low launching, but you have to use it at the right time because you don't go nearly as far. You can go with a low launch or something that you could call maybe like a medium launch, where you place a wall and a ramp above it. You can even get one higher. If you're in a build fight or some sort of elevation, then a low launch would work well. I like to throw down a trap on my jump pad as well if I got a few spare, because it'll make sure that players following you will have to break it before using the pad, or you can get lucky and get a nice 150 tag. All of this buys you time, which can let you hit a medkit, campfire, or anything that takes a decent amount of time to heal. Or if you can manage, you can always sneak away completely from the fight and disengage. Shockwaves are the only other form of rotation that we have right now, and using them offensively is not as strong as it was with the combat shotgun. So most of the time, if you use them to shockwave up, you're just going to end up getting beamed out of the sky. So using them directly underneath your opponent to knock them out, or what I like to do is sometimes spam 2 walls and then place a floor for easy height. This is a little risky as you can get chopped out easily, but it will protect you on your way up, where then if you want you can drop down right away again, but it overall just offers a lot more protection than just shockwaving up with nothing there to protect you. Otherwise, shockwaves are a great way to negate fall damage and launch off a big build fight. It sends you more downward than a launch pad would, and if you kind of direct yourself downwards, you have a much less chance of being lasered in that 3v1 situation. Regardless of how good you are, there are occasions where you need to disengage and put some space in between you and your opponents. There are so many situations where these tips will fit in, and while I talked about a few specific ones, there are so many situations that I can't cover all of them in a single video. But knowing as many of these little moves are great to make sure you have multiple options to use in any situation that you get into. But I do want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed all of it. And if you did, don't forget to follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. I post stuff on there quite often and I stream as well. All 3 of them will be linked down in the description. As well, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more future tips, tricks, and tutorials. If you want some more right away, check out the playlist and videos on screen now for some great ways to elevate your game. Other than that, thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.